let's be honest, trying to find your way around a hospital is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. I've been getting lost in hospitals around the world for over 20 years, so I do speak from experience. While we can't stop your cardiology wing from changing floor twice a year, we can provide you with directions on how to get there. But MazeMap isn't just about getting from point A to point B, and that really gets to the crux of why we wanted to take this initiative. People also get lost in data, and we believe we can help guide you visually with data as well. So we really are a spatial intelligence platform, and we help you understand how your spaces are used so you can improve utilization, streamline workflows, maximize operational efficiencies, and ultimately provide the best patient care possible. So, in other words, we're here to map the future of healthcare. My name is Alan Tangen. I'm a director of sales and business development, and I'm excited to lead our healthcare initiative in North America. Before we jump to the agenda, I want to highlight a few of the MazeMap team here that you may hear from at some point, whether through support, collaboration, or implementation. We're a cross functional crew, and each person brings something unique to the table. And we're all here to support you. If you feel anyone is doing a great job, please consider leaving that person a LinkedIn review. The purpose of today's exchange is simple. It's to build a community of healthcare innovators. And again, MazeMap is a spatial intelligence platform that provides a lot of different use cases. A lot of you that use MazeMap come from different departments within your hospitals. And it's interesting how different hospitals have different departments leading their wayfinding initiatives, which is where most of you have heard of us from before. And I think that also adds into the value of having these discussions where different departments can get together from different hospitals and see what's working well in one hospital, and maybe what's working even better in another one, or sharing how individual organizations use our technology. So today's meeting is formative, but our goal here is to help you maximize the value of investment. And through better navigation, smarter space utilization, and data-driven decisions. Um, so let's go to the collaboration and vision and cadence. This will be an ever-evolving series of events, and you're going to be playing a major role in shaping it. What we're planning going forward is themed sessions, each focused on something practical and impactful for you. So, for example, how do you get the most out of 3D assets? What does conference room booking or resource room booking entail? Uh, how do we work with asset visualization? What about analytics? How do we get the most out of the admin? So each session will feature a customer spotlight. We'll have a partner perspective if applicable, and then we'll have an open discussion as well. We'll also have every once in a while we will have maybe a roadmap um, preview of what's going on and what's coming, as well as gather more feedback. So it'll be a regular format and collaborative, and the tone ideally will be somewhere between engaging and mildly entertaining. We have a diverse group of people on this call, all with unique personalities and quirks. So to ensure we have um, strong foundation to build upon, let's just spend a minute on values. So we built our shared framework around the acronym CREATE to make them easy to remember and meaningful to apply. So C is for constructive candor. We encourage respectful dissent and honest feedback. And again, it's all about outcomes. Second one would be respect. You want to value everybody's voice and engage with empathy. Um, the E for empathy, consider diverse perspectives and constraints. the actionability, focus on insights that lead to meaningful change, transparency, and communicating openly and sharing progress honestly, and of course, engagement, where we show up consistently and contribute thoughtfully, and ideally don't ghost us. So, moving on to the supporting norms. So, in order to know how to behave, in order to uphold those values, it's important to have strong norms. So, we want to challenge ideas, and we want to have some meaningful discussion, and um, we're going to have some discourse. We want that, right? You don't want to agree with everything. That's not how we make progress. So we want to challenge ideas and not individuals. Assume positive intent, everybody. You want to speak up clearly and early, especially if somebody's on mute. And we want to, again, be open to being challenged. We want to use evidence where we can and examples, um, and make sure that we listen actively and respond constructively, and ideally participate regularly. All right, next, please. So, with the housekeeping out of the way, let's go to our first ever healthcare exchange speaker. I believe Derek is around here. So Derek and London Health Sciences, we've had quite a few years of history with them. Did various pilots before finally last year they took the plunge and became a MazeMap customer. I want to just give a spotlight to them because they have a really forward-thinking vision of how to use MazeMap, and we've had such strong collaboration within their organization to implement this. So, without further ado, um, if you're there, Derek, it's all yours.
First of all, thank you very much. London Health Sciences Centre is in southwestern Ontario, London, Ontario, Canada. For those that don't know Canada, it's close to Toronto, so we're pretty close there. We're a large teaching hospital, multiple sites, and our IT team, which is what I'm part of, provides IT services for multiple hospitals. About MazeMap some time ago, and we were looking for the right avenue and how we were going to purchase the product and implement it. And really, we were looking for what we needed was like a killer app to sort of get it in the door. And we actually started with a pilot at St. Joseph's Healthcare, which is one of the sites that we provide services to, and learned more about it there. And then there was a staff safety initiative that came up, which required a strong mapping solution. So we thought of MazeMap, we talked to them and their partners, and we were able to procure the solution from MazeMap as part of that project. So that project is still in its early stages of going live, but we went live with MazeMap earlier for wayfinding, and now we're starting to use it for the actual project that purchased it. So London Health Sciences Centre, as I mentioned, has multiple sites, about 3 million square feet. And one of our sites is a children's hospital, as well as a cancer program and Victoria Hospital, all combined to multiple buildings on a large campus. And that site's extremely difficult for staff and visitors and patients to navigate. So we're utilizing MazeMap's kiosks at many of our entrances, as well as the system online, which, as many of you know, you can use on your mobile device. We're just at the point now where we're starting to investigate, including mapping information with MazeMap for appointment reminders and appointment bookings. So that's sort of where we're at now as far as implementation. We've had fantastic feedback. The team, which I think you're going to hear from Planet a little bit later, but they've been fantastic to work with. Dino and Alan and the whole team have been great. Tatiana as well. I got to mention the key suspects. So yeah, I'm just happy to be part of this group. We really like the product. We're looking at now rolling it out at other sites, including St. Joseph's. And as I mentioned, we've had a great experience with the team. A couple other things I'll make mention of is that we're looking at future capabilities such as asset tracking. We were working with our infection control group to talk about contact tracing and visualizing that, um, thinking about measles and other IPAC concerns, as well as illustrating or representing on a map and a floor plan any precautions that are in patient rooms, so that staff can be up to speed on those precautions. So that sums up basically the experience that we're at so far, and it's been an excellent journey. So happy to answer questions when we get there.
Thank you so much, Derek. Appreciate it. We'll take some questions during the discussion, I think. So, all right. So next we have Andy talking about the perspective from his company. Andy is the founder of Planet, which is a wayfinding strategy group, and they have a unique perspective of how MazeMap fits into the grand scheme of things. So, Andy, if you're ready.
Alan, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So yeah, we found it's been interesting because with being a wayfinding strategy, our tool up until about 2017, we're actually putting signs on walls, and we actually had a client who is a MazeMap customer. Premier Health at the time had reached out to us and said, "Hey, we're seeing a lot more discussion about digital, wayfinding on your phone inside. Can you guys, explore that for us?" So that's how we actually found MazeMap. But at the time, back in 2017, when we were onboarding, one of the things that we kept hearing about digital was, well, you don't understand our clientele. We have an older clientele. They're probably not going to use it. And what we've seen all throughout the time is that, the phrase, nobody wants to be on the nobody wants to be on the bleeding edge of technology. But what we have been doing is we've been tracking mobile for a very, very long time. And you can kind of see, the age groups that we would suspect are the ones that have a smartphone, know how to use a smartphone. But over time, what we've been really interested to see is the 65 plus, continually increase. So the old comment of, well, our clientele doesn't use digital, doesn't really hold water anymore as they continue to get more and more comfortable. And COVID sort of forced everybody to have to engage with technology. But as it relates to wayfinding strategy, it gives us another tool in our toolbox that we can then start engaging people before they get to the hospital. Because we always say that wayfinding doesn't happen when you get on site. It can happen days, weeks before that. And being able to communicate where people are going to park, where people are going to go well in advance, just helps to be able to reduce the stress level of people. And I think that that's what we've seen with the customers that have been, working with MazeMap. So as we continue our strategy, we're starting to bring digital very up to the forefront. So Alan, if you can go to the next slide. So like I said, what we also understand with working with a lot of healthcare facilities is, everybody's focused in on the visitor and patient side, but we also know that we have staff, facilities, and security. In fact, a lot of our customers with MazeMap utilize it from the facility side to be able to communicate where things need to be fixed, that sort of thing. So it's been a really, really heavy piece, as well as the wayfinding. You can go to the next slide. So what MazeMap has allowed us to do is then, like we said, we were able to communicate things before arriving. And then even the people that don't, kind of like me, you just show up at a facility and just say, okay, I'm here, where am I going? It also helps us to be able to engage with people at their arrival. Obviously, the navigation is huge. It reduces the amount of staff interaction and downtime with staff, physically taking lost patients and visitors to their location. And as we had talked about, previously mobile is really starting to, not just in the younger group, but across all age groups. Alan, if you can hit the next slide. So when we look at the digital patient experience, the reason why we really value our partnership with MazeMap is because it doesn't matter how we're communicating with our client, whether it be a website, text messages, emails, even on social media. QR codes were probably the best thing that came out of, COVID. People, again, know what they are, what they can do, and we've actually integrated them into directional signs. So even a directional sign can become a kiosk along the patient or visitor route. The kiosks have also grown. I think that's something that we've seen, airports, when you travel now, you engage with a kiosk. If you go to McDonald's, you engage with a kiosk. So that's sort of reduced the amount of stress that people have in engaging with technology. And then obviously mobile apps, we can incorporate them. We've done that with Altman. We've done that with several other ones. So I think holistically, when we look at strategy, we're looking at not just signs on the wall anymore, but how are we engaging people throughout the whole journey and then ultimately back to their car. So I'd be happy to answer questions when the time comes.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time, everyone. And, I've heard some really interesting speakers at the moment. Andy, Derek, you guys do great jobs at what you do. And Derek, it was a pleasure getting you guys on boarded as well. Although, Tatiana was at the forefront. I'm here to have an open discussion with you all regarding client needs and priorities. But before I go too far into that, I want to kind of get some feedback from you guys. Okay, I want to get some feedback from you guys and just kind of let you know about our poll results. So leading into this first healthcare exchange, we sent a poll out regarding what kind of features you would like to see or need improvement uh, within the MazeMap platform. And here's how it kind of spread. So we asked about smart routing, being able to dynamically adapt the way that the path goes if a user starts to stray off the path, making sure that the blue line can adapt to that. Direct GPS integration, so being able to seamlessly integrate with something like Waze or Google Maps, so that you come out of that tool and into MazeMap when you get to indoor. Multi-stop routing, where you can have more than one path, more than one stop along the path. So just think of how to get from your home to the car park to the reception to, I don't know, MRI or something like this, and having that multi-point route. Hardware free positioning, that one's really cool. Being able to get an accurate position on your phone without necessarily needing to integrate into a Wi-Fi network or use Bluetooth beacons. And so the one below, number 5, QR codes. See, okay, my slides back. QR code sharing from a phone, being able to on the fly share a route with somebody else just by kind of flicking up a QR code that was from MazeMap. And time-based routes. Sometimes parts of the hospitals and that are closed at certain times of day, and being able to turn those paths off and on was something that we thought would be quite interesting. And then there was other. So we can see, in that order, smart route came top. So between that and the direct GPS integration was first choice amongst most. So was hardware free positioning, actually. But then after that, second choice was again between 1 and 2, and then third choice is what made the smart routing come out on top. It's quite interesting. Let's see, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so I kind of want to open this up for everybody. And for the MazeMap customers that are here already, what's working well for your organizations? Actually, even if you're, a prospect that's come to see us today, I'd love to hear what your thinking is. What's working really well for your healthcare organizations at the moment? That's right. I totally agree. Um, Currently, we obviously generate a QR code and put that around for people to use. But I kind of think about the point of use right at the beginning, where let's say you're a visitor or a patient, and you strike up a conversation with a nurse or something, and need to find your way. At that point, wouldn't it be awesome if we just flick up a QR code and say, this is the way to X-ray or MRI or to get your CAT scan? I think that's would be something that would be great. So yeah, I can see Derek and Liam, they're loving that, Andrew as well. But what about the rest of you guys? Is there anything that you guys think works well at the moment using MazeMap or not? Okay. Well, how about we flip to the web solution works well. Yep, it does. It does really work well. And we're lucky that we're able to integrate so many cool things into it. Pulling in occupancy, for example. Um, I've seen it work in other verticals where you can kind of use occupancy to show how busy areas are. Um, it's quite useful from a facilities perspective. Um, and obviously, being able to integrate with positioning providers to either show assets or location of yourself, your device on the map is great. Yeah, and then the staff is the public map also great, and having that SSO capability to sign into a private view, so you can kind of hide the sensitive areas from the public whilst utilizing them on staff is a super feature that we have, and it helps us MazeMap with our corporate clients, with our education clients as well as health. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good one there, Derek. Let's see. Do we have any other thoughts? All right. Okay. How about we flick to the next page? So, where can we be better? Um, that's something that although we did just talk about sharing poison on the phone, that was more to do with the poll. I don't want to cross the stream too much, but I guess I think this is something valuable that we can kind of take away, where we feel, or where do you feel that we could improve? Um, yeah. All right. Let me see. So yeah, QR code sharing from a mobile device would be a great feature. I feel bad, but I'm wondering if I've perhaps uh, tainted the water slightly by dropping that. It's one of my faves, to be fair, but I'm kind of think about a usability perspective. Um, mm, what else? What else? I'd say um, yeah, there's a few things, right? So for example, integrating with um, like apps, if there's I don't know, to app or not to app. Yes, web does work great, and this is very true. Um, Turn by turn navigation automatically as you move through the building, similar to how GPS does it. Liam, that's definitely one that's close to my heart. I would love to see that from a perspective of the blue dot as it moves through. That it ties into the route. So as you turn a corner, you don't have to press the next step. That by having that blue dot accuracy, being tight, when you hit that corner and you go to turn left or right, that the maps auto turn for you. I think that would be a great one. Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess one of the constraints we've got with that is, we've obviously discussed this internally, is about the positioning accuracy that we get from the providers. If it's 3 to 5 meter accuracy, let's say, with like, some of our partners, um, it's not always a guarantee you're going to hit that turn when you hit that turn. And that's really like one of the challenges we faced when looking for that, and probably one of the reasons why we designed like turn by turn the way well, in its current incarnation, really. Yeah, but I totally agree with you. Being able to route outside of entrance is closed, you need to direct them to closed, and you need to direct them to another entrance. Yeah, yeah, I've thought about that actually. So being able to route outside if entrance is closed, and you need to, yeah, yeah. So uh, one one thing that I thought of not too long ago that I put in as a potential feature request was, what happens when the path is unavailable, which is basically what you're saying. Or actually, what I thought about was, when if you're a user with accessibility issues, and possibly a wheelchair user or something, and you come across an obstacle along your path, and you're already kind of, you know, you've already hit avoid stairs and obstacles, but there is an unexpected one that's there. Being able to, on the fly, kind of redirect again, I think ties quite nicely. Uh, what's the next one down? So, can you integrate VLA beacons or other technologies into the web version of the product? Um, yeah, I would. I would love to see that. Um, I'm not. I'm not an engineer though, so I don't know if that's possible. I think if it was, it would already be done, because the beacons, there is other than the initial kind of fingerprinting and stuff like this, it's fairly stable once it's working. As long as you keep the batteries up to date on the beacons themselves, um, and it's a pretty good. It works pretty well. So I think if we had a way of doing it already, we probably would have. Um, but yeah, that's something that we could definitely take away. Yeah. Okay. How about the next slide? What would you like us to work on? So I guess, is there anything we don't have in the toolbox at the moment that you think would be something that would be useful? There are those tumbleweeds. Yeah, I think um, for me, something that I would like to see 100% is us getting to develop an indoor positioning system that doesn't rely on other partners. Yeah. So Andy's mentioned, that a lot of people ask if MazeMap integrates with Google Maps, Waze, Apple Maps. Currently, we don't. Um, However, that is, a really good thing. I'm starting to see this ask get requested more and more, and I do think it makes sense, um, from the point of view of, if we can use or if we can leverage the data from one of these types of partners, where they can kind of use like uh, preset tours, set a tour. Yeah, okay, nice one, Megan. So yeah, if we can leverage our partners and their strengths and integrate it with us, it totally makes sense. I mean, you're not going to use MazeMap when you're sitting in the car and navigating towards like the hospital, but you would use Google Maps or a Waze or an Apple Maps. And then once you get within the campus boundaries, if it could, somehow open up, or maybe create some kind of, okay, switch to MazeMap now. when you reach a certain, I don't know, coordinate or something that long. I'm not sure how we do it, but when you reach a certain point, basically, or the car park perhaps, maybe when the car stopped and you reach the destination, switch to MazeMap, question mark. Something like that would be great. Yeah, and underneath having tours, 100%. But that's similar to having the multi-point routing, right? Where like what I would like to see is not only being able to have tours, but also be able to, on the fly, be able to pick more than say an A to B. Having an A to B to C to D, and being able to do that would be quite useful. Develop a tool for new staff so they can learn the building and get introduced to MazeMap. Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think being able to do that on the fly, you wouldn't necessarily, need to do it inside the admin tool, but actually end users being able to do that, be like, oh, you can come to here and then go to there and go to there and go to there, and then click share, have a QR code and show it. I think that would be like real power. So yeah, I think those are some great points and suggestions. Getting conscious of time. So I'm going to ask, whether Thomas is here yet. But next up, to share actually some insights into our roadmap for Q4 in 2020, in 2025 and Q1 in 2026, is our CEO and founder, Thomas Yell.
Tonight, I just wanted to briefly share some about our roadmap going ahead, and we got quite a bit of feedback from customers globally, all over the world, and some of them has actually come from the audience here tonight. So I'm going to take you through some of the improvements. There's absolutely no chance I'll be able to take you through all the improvements we're doing, but some of them that might be of interest to you, or that should be of interest to you. So I'll start off with one of the capabilities we're adding, which is called 3D buildings. And the reason why we're doing this is an important one, is because there's so many that is struggling with being able to orient or recognize areas in a 2D format. So some of you already know that we are able to show the interiors in 3D. But one of the things or the capabilities we have added, which is in test now, is for customers to be able to set up their buildings in 3D, so they can be recognized. And this is what we typically call landmarks, right? So you don't necessarily do this for all buildings, but if you have some buildings which really stand out, which helps the user orient, that is great. The next improvement I wanted to speak a little bit is our solution for mobile asset visualization. And I know that there are people on the call here that has asked or given input to improvements. So we started off this development work a few years back with the aim of really helping nurses and non-technical clinicians being able to locate and find equipment within seconds, rather than spending up to 20-30 minutes, which they do currently. So we made quite a bit of headway, and what we're doing now is that we are going for a UI upgrade. So we really simplified how easy it is to be able to find equipment. But we also then see that, okay, there's a few use cases where we're not solving them good enough. So what we'll be doing over the next 3 to 6 months is that we'll be doing a UI upgrade. Another thing we're supporting going forward is other types of infrastructure than just Cisco. So we have been supporting Cisco spaces and data from Cisco spaces. Going forward, we'll also support HP or Aruba infrastructure. And so that will be really helpful for those customers that have that kind of environment, or even for customers having a mixed environment. The next thing I wanted to bring up is actually UI and UX upgrade on the wayfinding platform. So the UI has been looking like this for some, I think 3-4 years now. And we spent quite a bit of time with our users now, seeing how we can improve the user experience. And it's not kind of like obvious, all the choices we have done. But we've kind of mapped out, okay, how can we improve? And how can we make it even more intuitive for more users? So what we'll do is there will be a change in the menu structure and how that is working. Also, the search will be connected to the different menus. So if you're under points of interest, you'll be searching out for points of interest. If you're under one location, you'll be searching one location, so forth. So a bit of upgrades there. Will also be upgrades to points of interest and categories. And I know that for some of you, you've been asking for the possibility of save favorites, and that is a implementation that is coming up. Example of that has been that a user is able to say, hey, I parked my car here, and say that as a favorite, so he's able to find his way back to the car after the appointment. So those are some of the key changes that's coming, in addition with a bit more of branding for our customers. So in addition, just a general facelift to the application. And then I just briefly wanted to talk a little about the last innovation that we've been working for a while. And I just had a bit earlier that Dino answered the question about turn by turn or real-time turn by turn. And of course, that is great if you have the infrastructure to do so, but very often the infrastructure is not accurate enough or support indoor positioning, so you won't get the blue dot to be accurate enough. So what I'm showing here is basically a working pilot of indoor positioning without hardware, meaning it doesn't rely on any BLE, doesn't rely on any Wi-Fi or other type of infrastructure. It's purely based on sensors on the phone, combined with different algorithms to match the map against what we see in the camera. And I'll just briefly let you see how the solution or the accuracy of the solution yourself. So this is one of the test facilities where we have the solution operating. And what we found is that the accuracy and also what we call a latency, meaning the time between position updates, is really, really smooth. And as you can see here, the user is moving around in the hallway, and you'll be able to see that the blue dot is within less than a second updating and calculating the position. And also the position accuracy is quite spot on. And this is the first version that we will run to market with, which we start testing. The goal is to start testing in the next upcoming months with select customers. So not only will it allow for indoor positioning without any hardware, but our hope is that we'll also be able to provide a better user experience, better accuracy, so you can have those automatically turn by turn changes in the platform as user moves along. And those were actually the things I wanted to share with you here today.
So we'll next touch upon, some engagement aspects of this exercise that we are going through. So first of all, thanks everybody for being here. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. The purpose or, one of the objectives that, we decided to have this exercise was to actually bring all of our customers and, our internal stakeholders together to form a community where, we exchange ideas, share experiences, resolve problems, etc. And I'm glad to have had the opportunity to already work with some of y'all to produce, collateral, in partnership with MazeMap. And we've set up a few more channels to continue this engagement. The first thing I want to mention is, we are going to be creating a Slack channel, which is exclusive to the attendees or, extended attendees of this specific event. And here you have the opportunity to, actually talk about your achievements, questions that you have about MazeMap or even beyond MazeMap, about how other stakeholders in hospitals are, setting processes, solving problems, etc. And we also will have our MazeMap employees in there, specifically from the customer success team, who will be able to, answer any questions that you may have. And you should soon get invite to this Slack channel over the next couple of days. The second thing is MazeCon. This is our annual event where we actually showcase, a handful of our customers and how they creatively use MazeMap to derive ROI for their hospitals or universities in that case. And this year we are scheduled to have MazeCon around mid-November, and it would be a tremendous opportunity for y'all to be present there. Expect an invite from us, and you get to see how other customers are using MazeMap. And sometimes, it is very interesting to see how people innovate with MazeMap, right? And not just that, it would be great to have some of you all actually speak during the event as well. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to one of us on the panel today, and we'll be glad to work with you to make that happen. We're also attending the BMA Smart Hospital event in Miami in November, and we really want to showcase how we are partnering with these forthcoming customers. So it would be great to have let's say like a snippet of a video shot talking about how you're using MazeMap, or it could even be a quote from you, and we'll be glad to showcase that during the event. And we've done a few webinars with or case studies with people who are attending the event today, but we want to continue that effort. And these are great opportunities to showcase both you as a stakeholder and your organization along with MazeMap as thought leaders in this space. So we would like to have following events of this cadence in the form of let's say exclusive webinars with each one of you all. And expect for me to be in touch with all of you all to ideate such things like webinars, case studies, press releases, etc. And it was great having all of you here. And if there are any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I will now let Alan wrap up the session for today.
Thank you, Karthik. I created a couple of polls for themes, ongoing themes, and that you may be interested in. It'd be great to get your feedback on that. I guess I'll click on publish to those two. They're the same poll, really. I couldn't get all the answers in one. So if you wouldn't mind going through the list and checking off themes that you might be interested in, and those can be then themes of future sessions. So today was more of a formative session. And as we go, there'll be more collaboration and more focus on the educational aspects and use cases and so on and so forth. I just published this one. I guess you should see this now, hopefully. And we'll have one more following that. But like Karthik says, it'd be great if any of you would be interested in participating in any of our upcoming events. I have a 20-minute speaking opportunity down in Miami in November. So if there's any of you in the colder areas that would like to come down and share the stage with me, maybe that would be something you'd like to do. Definitely reach out if that's the case. Otherwise, like Karthik said, video would be great. He also mentioned that we plan on having a Slack channel for you to communicate in. If that works, that'd be great to hear from you as well. Or if we need to do another platform such as Teams, I know there's some restrictions at some facilities, so just let us know. Give us feedback. That's the main thing, and we'll figure out things from there. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we thank you again. We've got a minute left, so we kind of got back into things. So if there's nothing else, thanks again for participating. I'm going to hit publish on the next poll here right now, and if you can select make selections there too, that'd be great. And then we will definitely see you next time. So thanks again for participating, and look forward to the next one.